Let's see here. Right, I am live. If you can hear the stream, let me know. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. So, welcome to the first stream of the year for me, as far as YouTube is concerned. I'm doing the new type of segment. This is called the Concept Corner. So, the idea of the Concept Corner is basically, I guess, kind of a way for me to kind of exercise the creative muscle in my head and what have you. So it's basically like for those people, it's like, well, if I was in charge of said thing, I would. Hey Lorenzo, if I was in charge of said thing, I would do it this way. So this is me taking that idea one step further. So this will be, I guess, just me by myself type stream. So there will be no extra hosts for this, because I'm gonna get myself distracted and then I'm gonna go off topic again, like I did X amount of times. So I guess for the next couple of episodes, I'm not sure how many I should go. I guess the topic of concept would be the Justice League. So I'm not gonna say the whole thing because I don't want the algorithm to kill me here. In the style of the Square Enix Avenger game, minus the monetary transaction stuff. So the idea is to build the world, build characters, build a world, to have the idea, just kind of grow things. You can still ask me questions, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. So for like I said, for this concept, I should have wrote down a script or something. For today, barring all legal, just let me start off with the legal stuff too. All of this is just concept. It's not related to any current developing game or existing game franchise or whatever, what have you, or movie franchise in case if I do movies and stuff like that. All these properties are intellectual properties of their said owners: DC, Warner, Marvel, Disney, which I probably won't do Disney to way down the line. Likewise, I probably won't be doing things like Nintendo stuff because Nintendo seems to be on a barge those days. So with that, we're gonna start with Justice League. So the idea I had in my mind when I started this concept idea, and you're just seeing a blank screen right now, but I'm gonna start things here in a bit. So the idea was to give myself a set of rules when it comes to the universe. Was to be optimistic. Because I can't seem to spell and talk at the same time for some whatever reason. Optimistic, adventure, and bright. I guess bright. I guess that's the best way I can put it. So these are the these are three concepts of the game I had in my head. So that's the idea. With that said, we're gonna start with Clark, Superman. So hopefully DC doesn't kill me here in a bit. So one of the things I learned about that I learned about these games, that when they try to do Superman, they're usually trying to fit the game to Superman instead of trying to fit Superman to the game. Which is kind of trying to tell other people, was like, yeah, they kind of try to do this stuff and it kind of doesn't work out the way they had it planned. So here, this idea, we're kind of taking Superman and starting him off more as Superboy rather than Superman. So 16, 17-year-old Clark Kent, almost out of high school, on his way to college and stuff like that. Still farm boy in every sense of the word. Uh, D. If you like to, if you like where I'm going to go with this, hopefully you do, and hit that like and subscribe. Now, I guess for this stream, we're gonna not do symbols of any kind. So we're gonna leave Superman logos, Batman logos off of these characters, mainly because I don't feel like getting sued. And so the idea was, again, like I said, we start Superman off slow instead of him outright in the terms of power. So when I sat down and tried to write this idea down, basically I took it from another idea I had in my head for Justice League, but from an old idea. Basically a Ultimate Justice League, and then I just kind of changed it to started changing it to something else. So this is kind of more like another Elseworld, but more closer to something like Final Frontier, maybe than the new start of the DC animated universe they have. So when we first meet Clark, like I said, is country boy, one of you, or the country kid, and he's only been Superboy for about maybe a couple months, give or take. So we'll see how this works. There's probably gonna be some dead space in between because I'm trying to pull my thoughts together. So I apologize for that. And then so aside from put on this when I was starting off with the idea, I kind of imagine more. Actually, I should probably switch this on its own there. Come on, copy paste. Thoughts. Put this as thoughts process. Because if I don't leave it that way, I'm gonna end up hurting. Do that. Do that's rough. That way, I can do this. Ha ha ha. I'm being a dork. I'm gonna switch more to my mechanical pencil. And so again, yeah, the idea here was to present Clark more in a way that would help game developers. Like I said, this is kind of my idea. Like, say if I was in charge of making a video game, in this case, like I said, a JL game in the style of Marvel's Avengers. And so we start off with Clark, as I mentioned earlier. Really gonna need to script this. So, and he's got, and together was another little. This will be Emmy, which is short for Eradicator. And Emmy will kind of serve as our Jarvis for the game. So she's the one they talk to here in and out about things that happen and what have you, events. So kind of should kind of remind you more like a bug or beetle. Well, kind of like a beetle bug type thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you guys have any questions or comments you may want to add, just feel free. And he's not supposed to be that buff. Yeah. So I guess when we start we start the story for the jail game, it's gonna be centered around Clark, obviously, but the idea is kind of, I guess, somewhat different. Well, a lot different from the approach they use for Kamala Khan, because Kamala Khan just seems to like, it just felt weird. I guess if you want to put it that way. In this case, it's not so much like the older members are learning from the from this one single younger member. It's the younger members learning from the rest of the team. So characters like Batman, Wonder Woman, and whatnot, they're all going to be different in this universe. I'm thinking maybe more of a bomber jacket. So. So, when he makes his first appearance, I did put it in the stream, Lorenzo. I don't know if anybody else saw it. I also put it on Twitter. I don't know if anybody else saw it. Yeah. So when I started this idea, originally he was gonna be this gothic emo kid, and I was like, yeah, no, let's not do that. And so I kind of changed that like I said, be a little bit more optimistic, be a little bit more more fun, more adventure, and less brooding Superman, I guess. Because that seems to be the prevalent thing that people like to do is make Superman a brooding person. That seems to be the deal nowadays, and it's like, yeah, let's not do that. And so I kind of went. So, in for a game story, when you first meet Clark, he's wearing plain t-shirt, jeans, what have you. He's wearing kind of pretty much like I don't know if you guys seen the new animated Superman, the one with where they introduce Parasite. And then in that one, he's using a an old World War II bomber cap and goggles to disguise his face and what have you. So when he first shows up in that, when he first shows up in the game, he's gonna be in that costume. And then it's just later, like the suit I'm putting him in now is kind of be like the final form type deal. And so it's kind of I guess the JLL game is not so much about forming a team; it's more about introducing everybody to the world, to this world that everybody's in. So you kind of get this lens through Clark through you get to see the world through Clark's lens, literally and figuratively. So some kind of changes here and there. Young Clark, maybe keep him with the goggles. So he's still wearing he's still using the World War II goggles. But the idea is that Emmy has embedded technology in the goggles, so the goggles are give him other stuff that he can use. And the suit is kryptonium. I know the people tend to have issue with the pants on the outside, the underwear on the outside, so we'll leave that off. But so I guess what we'll do. I never understood why people kind of didn't like that, but okay. And so a lot of the story is kind of more Clark in Misadventures of Clark, I guess. So he goes from one set to the other, just being introduced to characters. But the overall plot of the idea is them dealing with an alien threat that shows up on Earth and is trying to take over the planet and stuff. So I'll be drawing the villains when I can too. So, but this is more me. Was first initial ideas and set pieces as I go through a couple episodes talking about this. So this is more or less the first draft of the idea. As I said, since this is a concept corner, this is me this uh, flexing that creative muscle in my head, I guess. So don't think any of this is kind of permanent. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I wish I could add more to the stream. I would like sound when I have you some kind of background music. So, but YouTube tends to not like us putting other people's music. Uh, I guess I kind of bomber jacketish. Some pockets. Yeah, kind of still digging the bomber jacket look. Seven playbacks. So I guess I've had people come in and out. So kind of an old World War II bomber jacket-ish type look, like pocket on the outside, pocket in the inside. Kind of have that big old World War II glasses. Maybe kind of, maybe not so much of the loose, but more like a fitted glove, I guess. So maybe slightly thicker, kind of more like what you see for motorcycle gloves. Kind of have that logo going on. So have something for knuckle protection or what have you. So the idea, like I said, is like it was to bring Clark's powers down to a reasonable level so that uh, the designers wouldn't have issues trying to come up, or devs wouldn't have so much issue trying to come up with a reasonable boundary for Clark's powers. Since the last couple of games I've ever seen for Superman just kind of didn't work out, mainly because where's the limit? What stops Superman from going through 10 walls, 20 walls, different, and so on and so forth. So the idea is to find a limitation that wasn't reason, but still you're still able to tell a story with. And have an I guess an end game in story continuity. So again the idea was to like, okay, let's start him off at uh, when his powers are just coming in, so they're not. So he's still Man of Steel, just not to the point where he's gonna go through everybody. Kinda. He's The idea was to stick to John Bright levels of Superman's power, so he's still technically powerful. He's still technically the most powerful hero in the universe. He's just in on Earth. He's just not there yet. So you're still catching him at a growing age where his powers are still coming in, and that way the devs can still tell a story with him without having to break their head over how much power he's going to have. Because another character that's going to be an issue is going to be the Flash. The Flash is a character that can easily do Mach 1, and so how do you build a game around a character that's faster than all of his opponents? You know. And then because some people tend to just do it by making the bad guys just as equally strong, and that kind of, some people are like yay, some people are like no, that's that's a little too much over. So again, this is kind of like the misadventures of Clark as he's becoming Superman. It's a more a less CW version of Smallville, I guess. uh, so we can shrink that a bit. Another great thing about being concept artists, you can do stuff like that and cheat a little. Yes, but but he's not gonna be like flying top speed. So the idea is that he can fly at moderate paces, so he can probably do maybe 200 miles an hour, if that. But it's only short distances. He can only fly in a short distance. So he's not gonna be going from from Smallville to Metropolis in under a second or something like that. It's gonna take him like 15, 20 minutes to make it from Smallville to Metropolis. Can't leap that high just yet. So he, again, since it's just Superboy, he's not gonna be hitting Superman levels. He's gonna be hitting Superboy levels of power. So this is kind of my idea for the gloves. No, I think we were talking about weren't we talking about that just a little while back too, about him turning time back. Little tip: make circles, draw kind of this kind of bar right here. What I'm doing right here, and you go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and make sure to check your length. But again, as I said, this is mainly to address the issue of how of programmers and designers or have an issue trying to come up with a reasonable design for Superman. Um, so I was like, okay, well, we need to try and find a way to do this without giving designers an aneurysm. So like, okay, let's bring him down a bit, but not too much, but still have fun with the story. Yeah, I started at little before 7:30. It's already about 8:02. So I guess we'll try to go maybe 9:30 ish. 10. 10. And it's just me kind of trying to go through characters and ideas. So. Debating him having cowboy boots, but maybe not so much. Control Z, your friend. So maybe more. You're probably seeing designers like, oh, we should have done that first. So kind of more like a boot. like you see mountain boots. More traction on the feet. Uh, kind of plays to style a bit. When I have you kind of have that idea. You know, that he's have some kind of country flavor to his suit, while still being kept kind of realistic. Kind of well, not kind of realistic, but kind of uh, practical in design. So those are more of the changes. All right, we have 3 likes. That's more or less the idea. Yeah. So I may have to figure out how much faster or how much slower I'm gonna have to be with these streams. As far as I guess, uh, as graphics were concerned, I really don't think doing it realistic is would be the key for this. I would kind of maybe try and have some kind of a more animated style, maybe more Bruce Tim, or maybe something like uh, the animation quality style that was used for Final Frontier. So like I said, this is kind of me just kind of going through talking my ideas, talking going through concepts and a concept idea of it. So right now, so this is not something I would consider final. I guess in terms of look. So this is just me kind of dipping my toes in the idea. Unfortunately, I don't have nearly as many ideas I have for Clark as I do for more of the other characters uh, that I had in mind to work with. As a right now, I'm trying to think of a good casting list, I guess. And so Clark is more or less the main one because this is the character that you're going to be following throughout the game, or through the conceptual game idea, if you may want to put it that way. Yeah, but like most other, like I said, most other concept work, a lot of it goes through iterations. So you're talking four, five, six, maybe eight, nine, 10 different changes before they settle uh, on just one thing. I'm debating putting the logo on his back, but I want to keep the idea that the jacket is like an old World War jacket or something like that. It may that got cut down because it's kind of an old jacket, so the sleeves aren't uh, that awesome. So this is probably going to be Clark version 1.0. So this is going to be the first iteration of a long. So then, like, again, the idea is just to go through a couple characters, make a first draft of each character, and then just kind of go back and consequently see where I can do better as far as character design goes. Maybe do some more free flow artwork that goes with it, and then wish I had a coin I could flip. Let's see which character I do next. You know, hey Lorenzo, if you can hear me, pick a character. We'll work on his concept or her concept. Well, at least I think Lorenzo's there. Alright. Is that we'll do Bruce. Bruce. That's fine. So, unlike Clark, who's 17, 18, on his way out of high school, between 16 and 18, Bruce is going to be more early 20s, so he's more 21, 23 ish, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah. Still kind of in this start out phase too, but I think the idea I had was Bruce here was not to be as such a downer as everybody has him portrayed at the moment. Looking at Tom King here, but it's like, yes, I'm calling you out. So it's like so I guess my Bruce would be more detective rather than I'm gonna brew in the corner and be paranoid at everybody. It's like, yeah, you're no fun, man. So most of his background plays out pretty much like his main counterpart. My parents died due to Joe Chill, and I think the idea here more is that Batman is being Batman to prevent more the tragedy that befell him um, from happening to anybody else. But he's kind of more of a master detective, like he's kind of been beforehand. Like in the 80s and 90s, he was really more detective rather than paranoid, psychotic. That's trying to turn everybody into his soldier of some sort. Because again, that's where they really have Batman at this moment. Uh, it's like, yeah, that's such a downer, man. It's like, I don't know where the idea that Batman can't be happy came from, but it's kind of redundant and retarded. Well, it is like, it's like we can't leave the character, in this peripheral state of always brewing, always being unhappy, always being unsatisfied, and just being this downer of a person. It's like, go, good God, dude, go outside, go walk the dog, something, man, anything. It's just sheesh. So, I guess when I envision my Batman, he's more detective, not so paranoid. So you could say more, I guess Sherlock Holmes. I guess that's my idea. Is that so? He's using gadgetry to more stop and apprehend people rather than outright beat the tar out of somebody. Since since we're kind of seeing, I don't know how many people have seen the current the soon to be current movie coming out, but he kind of looks like he's beating they were pissed out of some people. Like, yeah, that's kind of. It's like, oh, we're gonna do this crazy thing with Batman. We're gonna make him beat the crap out of people. We're gonna make him kill other people. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We don't need him to validate the sanctity of life and what have you. And it's like, it's because that's kind of what I liked about Final Frontier Batman, and that's kind of where I'm modeling him from. Is that he's just not this big down over person. kind of realized his legs are bigger than his upper torso. Yeah, much better. See, I can make mistakes too, so. Yeah, I mean that's my criticism of Batman, of current Batman. But you know, if you like the way he is, then kudos to you. But I prefer more the Great Detective rather than the Great Paranoid. Yeah. Yeah. So, he, like I said, so he'll have kind of doing the '60s Batman where he kind of has a gadget for almost everything, but he's still a great fighter, and so you know a superb martial artist and gadgeteer. But most of his main qualities are in being an even much better detective. So uh, he runs into, well, better yet, he saves Clark when he first appears. Because Clark does, and Clark is many things, but sharpest tool in the shed is not one of them. At his age, anyway. And so, by luck and sheer chance, Bruce saves Clark the first season when he's first introduced. So for Batman, I was kind of thinking more that the cape is kind of in line with keeping with the idea that he's using kind of a memory fabric that allow him to make the cape turn into like kind of like this glider that he can glide down. Was it and what have you? I it showed up in the movie Batman Begins and Beyond. I think. At least I think it was Batman Begins. And then it showed up in everywhere else. But I guess they were trying to give a movie logical reason for Batman being able to glide down from whatever building he's on to the ground without some kind of proper setup or what have you. So it's connected to a harness that is connected to the suit itself. So the seat of rings, and it has part of the cowl on top of that, so it kind of locks it in. So obviously the symbol's going to be here, but I'm not putting that here because I really don't feel like having a fight with DC. So, and these are kind of sectioned off so it doesn't get in his way. So he should be able to turn his neck in full in full motion and range, side to side, left to right, up and down, back and forth. And again, it's kind of kind of have this motion here. Like I said, the idea is that Batman's kind of the most uh, technological of the group, technological gadgetry of the bunch. So the piece on his helmet, or his cowl, rather. So I don't know if you guys ever seen the design sheet that Jim Lee did for Batman Hush when he was uh, filtering out the idea for his Batman. But he kind of had this goggle idea that at the Batman that where Batman puts his eye can see out of, has this protective glass, kind of has this digital frame so he can see stuff. You know, monitors, what have you. So that's the idea, is that he kind of has these goggles that allow him to see digital on-screen outputs and what have you. This tip on his nose is a nose guard. So somebody tries to pop him in the nose, headbutt, what have you, they're being met with a reinforced nose guard. Same thing with the cranium. The the ears here are antennas, radio antenna, or radio. I can't spell today. On the radio. I guess we'll put Bluetooth. But I seriously doubt that's going to be a good idea. Especially if some communications come back. So maybe it's kind of a huddle for almost every type of communication. Maybe not quantum entanglement communication just yet, but somewhere down the line, I guess. So he has earpieces in the ear, so here's the device, which I'm not going to draw into some kind of super detail here. For the purposes of this, so kind of this hearing aid looking device that's in his ear, and so he can hear everything as he's partaking in his cases and what have you. Chin guard. Kind of looks like Owlman, kind of not. There's also going to be this kind of triple layer in the back. You can see the dreads. It kind of gives the back of his head and his spine some protection from impact such as bats, steel pipes, and what have you. It's some protection, not all protection. So you're not gonna. He's not gonna stay awake from hits from Solomon Grundy, I guess. If you guys like what you see, please hit a like and subscribe, and hit hit that bell notification for any more if for more if I show up. So because I'm hoping to for this to be more of a thing. So the more people show up, the more I'll keep doing it. I just wish this would show me who's around. This is not like Picardo where I can see the users. So as for his wrist gauntlets, kind of had the idea of kind of like his I guess the Arkham game, Batman. He had more of these kind of retractable blades. And the guards themselves kind of have this angled dome to it with some padding in between, so that when he blocks things like knives and bats and what have you, it's not hitting directly on his wrist, on his forearm. So it's just kind of that one shot and kind of bounces off. Of course, all the straps in. So he'll probably have more on his belt, kind of a mini cram lab set of tools, and many defense things. But a lot of his defense times are going to be like in his gauntlet, somewhere in the wrist guard, and then in the hand protection. So obviously he's going to have hand protection. More. I'm gonna have to redraw most of this again, just to get it cleaned up. So kind of more of a FUBU with some legging behind. So kind of like bat straps. Kind of reminiscent of his yeah. See how it goes. The armor itself is kind of caliber mesh, carbon fiber mesh when it heavy. So not too far off on current technology, I guess. Again, as I said, we're not putting in the symbol because I don't want certain places to come after me. Then watch me be served tomorrow. So there's going to be spines in the cape, as I said, so it's going to allow him to do the parachuting or gliding down. And then we have Bruce outside of uniform. As far as his head is concerned. Kind of want to try and match his Batman the Animated Series look, kind of. And again, we're not making Batman this downer of a person. Jeez. Actually, I did like his Mask of the Phantasm movie. Where he's kind of trying to choose between wanting to be Batman and wanting to be with his girl at the time. But again, as I said, we're trying not to make him such a freaking downer. I did that all wrong, but again, this is just introduction to the idea, and it's like, oh my god, he can't draw in suit. Yes, I can. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Yes. So he's not always going to be in the Batman suit, so he doesn't have the darn thing underneath. Especially since a lot of it is going to be kind of padded, built for taking punishment. So it's kind of going to be like his animated version is Batman the animated version, where he kind of has to take off to go get the uniform and put it on and save the day. He's just not gonna have it on him all the time. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna sit here and maybe do a more cleaner shot of his Batman suit. Can make it more cleaner than that. So put in little screws here and there just to indicate that the suit is kind of armored in some ways. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, the idea is not to make Batman this downer of a character, you know, because that's mainly been the thing I've seen was mainstream, is that they just kind of make Batman this sad person, this brooding person that can never be happy. I'm just like, dude, it's like let him be happy, like damn it. And then, like I said, and the idea was to play up more to the detective side of Batman. So he's looking at clues, he's looking at this, he's looking at that, he's looking at suspects. You know, he's not trying to beat the tar out of everybody. You know, well, I mean, when it's required, yeah, he'll beat the tar out of somebody. But and I kind of had the idea that the bat blades on his gauntlet were more for like capturing like bladed weapons, you know, so knives, swords, and, you know, ninja weapons of some sort or what have you, and so he catches it and it's like, okay, ha ha ha, I caught it. You know. And again, we're not putting symbols here because, you know, companies. And so the idea, like I said, is to play him more as a as a Sherlock Holmes detective. Just with more gadgets and a couple belts in martial arts. I may make these pouches look more sci-fi when I come back and revisit all this. Because mainly, like I said, this is a first draft for everything. Kind of a first draft for characters. So there's gonna be some iterations and some changes and some ideas. Because, like I said, this is the idea of the show is to kind of, have flex the creative muscle in my head. It's like, okay, so I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it for a set game. So things I can't do is that I can't, since I don't have. I think I got my first bot. Thanks, Lorenzo. So it's great to have people with mentions because then I don't have to sit there and try to continuously kick bots off of the stream. I would rather focus on giving you guys the concepts. Thanks, dude. Now I'm pretty sure someone sent the bot after me. Like, you don't like Bruin Batman? No, I don't. Right. Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier is that he's not gonna have the suit on him all the time because the thing is kind of bulky and just not feasible to have the thing on him all the time. So he's not gonna be wearing it like it's a freaking pair of underpants or underclothing. Like some people will depict him as like, dude, why is he wearing that thing under that? Isn't that, wouldn't that be hot? Uncomfortable, at the very least. Like, he's Batman. He's supposed to be prepared at all times. Uh, that thing probably gets what, 100 degrees, easy. That's all Calabar. That kind of gets hot. Well, it's a fictional universe, yeah, but it's not making him that paranoid. This is debatable right here. To everybody, to those who just came in, if you like if you like what you see, please hit the like and subscribe, the notification bell, and everything else that goes with this, because I can't remember the whole entire bit. And if you don't like it, well, I guess you can hit the edit button if you can't, if you'd like to. There you go. Advertise yourself, sir. So he'll Lorenzo's show will be on every Thursday night, and I will try to do this every Wednesday night. Uh, it won't be just the Justice League. It'll also be other ideas as I come up with them. Um, and if this ever gets to monetization, I guess uh, the content, not the actual stuff I'm doing here. Well, the video content, not the content that's not mine. I think I'll stick with the. There are also little latches here and there so that you can attach like gas masks and whatever. Again, as I said, I think my Batman will be more gadget friendly. So when you do the gameplay for Batman, you're gonna notice he's gonna have a lot of gadgetry. And a lot of it is designed to ensure that he can stay on his feet for a fight when need be. I'm still debating how many characters to start with, because I think with Marvel's Avengers, I think they have. Let's see. Uh, Let me look. Let me look. Marvel's Avengers. Okay, so the initial. Let's see. Initial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically, they start off with 6 characters. Three. Well, 5 if you just discount Kamala at first, because then they added. Then they added a Bishop and Barton, and then T'Challa. but they're also gonna be bad guys. So yeah. So I guess we'll do the first three. The first three. So, uh, Superman, Batman, and uh, Wonder Woman. So hopefully I don't get slapped back for that. Let's see here. Actually, I think I can just make this bigger. And by the way, I am by no means an expert on how they do their design work, their concept work at any studio. So this is just me doing concept on my own and not indicative of any other company that does what they do. So I could probably have somebody who does concept work for a living is like, hey, dude, what the hell? Okay. That's was this. The idea is that it's kind of curved, with some padding in between, and so when stuff hits, it's hitting that surface. You know, like I said, I kind of want to make him look a little kind of like his like his animated version, like the old animated series. The original one is Batman animated series, the 1991 or 1990 series. I can't remember exactly the year it showed up in. But like I said, I also want to kind of have kind of like this Bruce Timm Final Frontier graphic style look to the game. I don't want it to be super realistic. It's like I mean, they wanted it as like they wanted it up for other games, awesome. But I would prefer to try and keep it fun. I want to try to use graphics that'll invoke, you know, they're like, oh, this feels like you know the animated series. This feels like I'm watching Justice League Unlimited or the old the old Batman animated series cartoon and what have you. So and again, Bruce here is in his early 20s. He's just starting out as Batman, but he's so It's not some brewing a hole, and he's more likely, as long as I stay in control of the of I guess of the game from whatever point, he's not gonna be one. It's like they don't need. There's already enough a whole versions of Batman. We don't need another one. We need. A little more lightheartedness. Even jokingly complimenting leaving Yes. So you're talking like maybe 20, somewhere 21, 23 ish. You know, but he's kind of moved into being more Batman, the world's greatest detective, instead of Batman, the ultimate brewer in the dark shadow in the corner, never being happy, always being brewing, paranoid and more paranoid, dark flashes in the sky. Why am I always alone? Why must I push her away? Yeah, no, come on. We've had too much of that. Come on. Yeah, let's cut that. Yes, it's one of those F that ideas. It's kind of the weird habit of just making him just like to make him beat his brew in person. Just it's a big downer, You don't. Who wants to be around that guy? That dude is always that. Oh no. Like I said, so this is an Elseworld. It's more that I'm going. It's more that I'm going to be. Da, 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 da. I'm just kind of trying to lighten things. Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the Adam West Batman, but yeah. Yeah. Like I said, that's the idea, was to kind of keep him this. And I forgot the other year. There's kind of less depressing. There's more detective. He's always looking into cases. He's doing this. He's doing that. So he's doing his best to not scare kids too. So. Yeah, this won't be as campy. This is just more him being. It's more being a person rather than just being this brewing symbol of justice every day and all day, every day, in the dark, in the shadow. It's just like, come on, dude, lighten up. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe, and hit that subscribe and notification bell. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow also on the Sleep Stack Variety Show, where I'll be co-hosting with Lorenzo Sleep Stack, who's here at the same time. Here with us in chat. Yeah, and that's what I would bring back to the table is Detective Batman, where he's he's some cases that have some kind of mysterious angle to it and what have you. Not every criminal is gonna out to destroy everything in the room and what have you, So he's solving a Riddler a Riddler crime that's filled with his riddle, and Nobody's dead, but he's committed a heist and one of an elaborate scheme, and Batman is trying to figure it out. You know, or he's dealing with the Joker, who's, uh, you know, not so much being blowing up the whole doggone world, but it is, it's still a pretty menacing person. Then there's also, fighting off characters like Reddy Shago and what have you. But it's more the detective part of what Batman does, not so much as him brewing in the corner and being a paranoid jerk all day. All right, so I think since we finished, I guess we kind of finished the initial design for Bruce here. We'll move on to Diana. Uh, I guess out of the three, Diana was more the bigger change. Mainly because I kind of changed the origin story for her. And then, yeah, he started off in Detective Comics. It was literally called Detective Comics. You know, so he was kind of a mix of Zorro and Sherlock Holmes. That was the initial idea. So that it's because like Zorro used the mask and hat and what have you, kind of a flashier suit to distinguish himself from his regular self, and so that people wouldn't figure it out. And that's the whole idea of Batman, is that he used this elaborate suit to keep people from figuring out who he is. In my incarnation, he's is the same deal. Is he's using it to ensure that people don't know it's him, but at the same time, he's also used to ensure that he limits the amount of injuries to himself, and that he has gadgets that he can deal with people in a more cerebral and thought out way. So he's not always beating everybody up with his fists. He's tossing out a batarang that can nail people to the wall or something, or like, well, not nail them, but like capture them to the wall or something, or shocks them into they hit the ground. There you go. You know, and the every so often where he needs to fight, he's fighting. You know, but it's not always the same thing. Uh, so we're gonna do Diana, and I misspelled Diana like an idiot. So yeah, I think that's what I want to turn him back to, is more the detective gadget Batman, I guess. And so he's not always going to be fist fighting everybody. Now the I now well moving on to Diana, Wonder Woman, I guess. I guess my idea is to kind of go back to the start, using more Greek mythology and in the way it's kind of told. So the idea is to go from the point of where Hercules is doing his ninth labor, which is to take the belt or the girdle of Hippolyta. I think it was supposed to be a gift from her father Ares or something like that. And so in the mythology, in the actual mythology, um, he was Hercules was on the verge of getting that belt without any blood being shed. He was showing off. He was being impressive. He was being everything in the book. Uh, Trying to win favor of the Amazons without incurring a fight, and he almost succeeded. Unfortunately, Hera, who has such a freaking uh, mad on hate for him, decided to throw a wrench into that plan and kind of disguise herself as an Amazon and started throwing monkey wrenches here literally monkey wrenches here and there, sowing discords of distrust and what have you, and eventually she tricked the Amazons into thinking that Hercules was gonna run off with their queen, instead of just taking the belt. And so they rushed to attack Hercules. Hercules assumed that they decided to be treacherous, and he fought back and killed all the Amazons, and took the belt anyway. So technically, the death of the Amazons was Hera's fault. Uh, and so I take that bit of information. So I'm taking that actual lore, kind of change it a bit here, but it's still more or less the same way. The only difference is that Hercules did make off with the belt, but the idea was instead of Hera, sowing the discord into Hippolyta's Amazons, what she did, she ended up kind of whispering in Hippolyta's ear, just repeatedly, kind of just filling her head with poison, and to the point where uh, she basically got Hippolyta to go with some of her was whatever Amazons that followed her to go find Hercules and I guess exact Hera's revenge, but but if the idea was that Hercules and Hippolyta did sleep together, but the idea is that she felt Hercules' Hippolyta's head was lies and what have you, saying this and that, and basically she's there because she Hera lied to her, and Hera basically made her come into this belief that Hercules was the devil and everything else in the world. And so what happens from there is that they go to attack, ballistas and all, because they know Hercules is, this dead strong, this badass strong character. So they literally take a ballista to go kill this dude. And for those who don't know what a ballista looks like, there are kind of different types of ones, but the most common is kind of this catapult one. It's on wheels or whatever they use. Kind of has this kind of spoon-like type device, and you can put a rock or whatever you want to put on it. It also has a counter right, and it's lashed onto something. So you hit that lash, and it tosses and breaks whatever you need to break. You're right. Yeah, but this is Hera. Hera tends to have pretty much have a hate on for all of his kids. Yeah, like I said, there are many types of ballistas, as far as I know, or machines of war, as we want to call it that way, or it's the giant crossbow one. Okay, that was my bad. So basically, what happens is that because of Hera, Hippolyta and the Amazons find Hercules after a couple years. What they don't know is that Hercules has basically given up being an adventurer and what have you, and he's settled down again with his, I think it's his second wife, second or third. I think it was his second. Because there's Megathera, which is the first, and then there's another one after that. And so the thing is, Hippolyta doesn't know that. She doesn't know that he's done. He's not adventuring anywhere. He's not doing anything. He's just trying to live life. He has kids now and everything. And basically, she ambushes Hercules at his home. The ballista strikes the home. It doesn't kill Hercules, but it kills the family. And the idea is that Hippolyta finds out at the last second that it's that there's famine there, and she's trying to tell her troops, no, don't do it, don't do it. Too late. The thing takes off. It goes in through the building and it kills everybody but Hercules. Hercules in a mad rage kills pretty much all the Amazons at that point. The only one left was Hippolyta, who he thought he had killed anyway. Hence why Hippolyta was still alive, because she missed. He missed her. He missed, I guess. And that's why Hippolyta's alive. And then, and once you realize that, this is literally Hera's fault, she kind of went fuck F the gods at this point. But because, the damage is already done, essentially, because Zeus is gonna be Zeus, he decides, you know what, for the crap you did, whether it's Hera's fault or not, you're gonna also pay the price, because she can't pay the price, and I exile you to this island called Themyscira. And then you get to live forever at this point, but you can't leave this island. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's like you can't die. You can't do nothing. You are stuck here forever. Zeus being Zeus. And so eventually she strikes a deal with Hermes to bring her stuff from the outside world, books, stuff like that. And eventually she kind of starts building her own stuff, I guess. It's like, so while she can't leave the island, people can enter the island. So after a while, she kind of creates this company on the island. And flash forward to the present, we get Themyscira Inc. And it's at this point is when Diana is the creation of a bunch of scientists, whatever. So she's kind of more. So she's an android for this, but Hippolyta still describes her as a golem. And so the idea is that she's being used for rescue and search purposes. That's Diana's essential design, is to be a search and rescue robot. And eventually becomes more sentient and and kind of joins the league and stuff like that. But basically, the story of Wonder Woman is the story of Hippolyta, and Hippolyta is the one that just she gets beaten. She gets tricked into everything that's happened to her by Hera, and basically she's F the gods and what have you. Now, yes, in my version, yes. Whatever other versions there are, that's done them. So the thing is so she's kind of a mix of magic and technology, but she still stays. But I guess the whole point is that thank you for the like. The whole point is that Wonder Woman is the creation of science, not something from the gods and what have you. Because at this point, Hippolyta's like F the gods and F them for this, F them for that. You're the reason all this mess happened to me, etc., 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 etc. And it goes from an original design. Let me see if I can find it that I had, and see if I can find it and I can show it to you guys. Give me 1 sec. I should have done this beforehand, and that way I could have had it on hand before to show you guys this stuff, because I'm an idiot. Ah, screw it. This is supposed to be custom coded anyway. So she still has, still more or less has the same kind of design. Yeah. So she still kind of looks human. When she looks human, even at first glance. And the idea is that there are a lot of other characters here that kind of went into her design. So it's just more than Hippolyta adding to this design. Yeah. Yeah, people wondering why it's more easier for me to design women is because I draw a lot of female characters. And so that, I guess that's what kind of makes this character different. And it's a drastic change, but it's not. But it was an idea that I was working on quite a while. You know, it's like because I really did like the George Perez version of Wonder Woman, her origin, or where she was made of clay, or she came to life from clay. Yeah, it's just that when New 52 came around and they changed her origin, that's kind of what it's like. Yeah, that kind of makes her another one of the thousands of children of Zeus that just it's like, man, come on. I need a way to show off her hair. You see, because the idea is that the ear is kind of attached to the helmet, to this piece, and there's a visor that can drop down when needed. Put that off to the side. Yeah, so that's basically the idea I had here was um, basically follows a bit more of the Greek mythology that's there. Basically everything that's happened to Hippolyta. The idea that everything that's happened to Hippolyta is for sure Hera's fault. I'm so, uh, I'm gonna be. I'll be honest. I'm probably sure I'll piss quite a few people off because some of them don't want uh, that to be the case, where everything is this person's fault. Like, why she has boob? Because because she can. So the idea is she's kind of a mix of synthetics and metals and what have you. Yeah, even the hair is kind of made up. So the idea was also to make sure there's a kind of a limitation for Wonder Woman, so that she's not uh, even if there's like another game after this or what have you. They're still not. She's still not hitting a limit where all her bad guys suddenly can't match her anymore. It's kind of what, because that's the thing with the comics is right now is that a lot of Wonder Woman's bad guys aren't around, and they may have an excuse for that, but they're not around mainly uh, because Wonder Woman just basically outgrew them. She has way too much power. Well, yeah. Well, she probably has a lot of moms and dads and that were on the project of building her. It's like I said, because eventually, like I said, eventually the building, the island became inhabited with people that they came to do technology. So she kind of started her own enterprise on the island. Like I said, she couldn't leave, but she doesn't mean that didn't mean people couldn't come. You know, so she found the like to say the loophole. Yeah. So the idea I had in my head is that she's designed for search and rescue missions. Right. In Wonder Woman's case, the idea is that she's quite a bit limited due to her humanity and due to not having uh, not being a person, well, fully realized person. So she's not. Uh, so she doesn't grasp concepts of human logic, emotion, and what have you. Yeah, another idea I had with her was that she has this. The lasso of truth was kind of becomes a discus of truth, I guess. Well, it's not a lasso of truth, but it's a discus, and it's on a cord, and it goes a certain distance, and it comes back. But again, it's mostly used to help people, reel in people. The shield itself is quite strong, so you could toss it at somebody and knock them silly. So Theoscammer Inc. would actually be the chief competitor to Wayne Enterprises. Now that I think about it, because or one of their chief, because they're building robotics. Theoscammer Inc. is a robotics company. Yeah. Like I said, she doesn't understand the concepts of things like hate and love and peace, peace and hate, and so on and so forth. So the story is, like I said, I guess for for Wonder Woman, the story is not just centered on Wonder Woman, but it's also set down on Hippolyta, who you got screwed pretty much by Hera. So, I guess uh, Ares wouldn't be her chief bad guy anymore. I guess it would actually be Hera. Hera would be Diana's main villain uh, because I think at that after a certain point, Apollo just kind of wants forgiveness from Hercules, who you know she took away everything at that time. So that's mainly the big change I did as far as Wonder Woman's story is concerned. No, it would be more that like I said, I'm gonna go on the idea that because of what Hera did, she kind of had like this big falling out with the rest of the gods. Chief among them, Zeus and Ares. So she failed to get her revenge, and at the same time she got uh, essentially she screwed herself. And instead of blaming herself for all the things that she's in, she's gonna take it out on characters like Diana and Hippolyta. And again, as I mentioned before, these are our first design ideas, or I guess knife ideas for Diana, because I did her before. Because this is taking her from an old Justice League idea, as I mentioned before. Well, like I said, she since Hera used Hippolyta as an instrument of revenge against Hercules and failed, she now has hate for Hippolyta. But since she can't strike at Hippolyta, she's gonna strike back at Wonder Woman, who goes out into the world. And so, instead of trying to kill the mother, she's gonna try to kill the daughter. I guess you might put it that way. And so she's setting villains in our Wonder Woman's way. So that's how we're gonna get a lot of characters like Cheetah, Amazo, and a lot of and some of other Wonder Woman's rogue gallery, so that they can be used. Yeah, I mean, the point is that Hera had such a hate bonus for Hercules. She didn't even it didn't even bother her that she killed because she already killed Hercules' family the first time, so she wasn't bothered by the fact she inadvertently killed Hercules' second family, second family as well. you know. But I get, and after that point, basically I guess to say Hercules was under was under uh, God the rest of the gods' protection, or Ares' protection, or I'm still working on that idea. But at that point, Hercules didn't want to fight no more, and he was most certainly done after that. If he wasn't done before, he was certainly was after that point. And so, uh, uh, so Hercules is still around. He's just he won't be a he won't be a chief antagonist. I guess you can put it that way, or at least after a while. Maybe from the start he might be, mainly because he's like, hey, you're Hippolyta's kid, or you're her golem, or what have you, and it's like, she killed my family, da 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 da, you know. You're just kind of proving some points here and there. Is like, being hateful doesn't help you. It just kind of utterly destroys you. You know. You know. Honestly, I'll probably do a better job of the revenge doesn't get you nowhere bit better than another game that we know of that sucks hardcore. I'm not going to mention it because I'm probably sure I'm going to get this a-hole trying to shut me down. And people are asking, why are you going to put her in boots? Because I want to, thank it. I guess I'm gonna have to answer that one. And I realize our legs are too long too. No one points it out to me. Okay. Obviously, the designs are not gonna. Like I said before, these are just work. These are just first draft ideas, and so I'll probably be visiting some of these again. Well, obviously, I'm gonna be visiting some of these again. In mainstream, I do believe so, but he's, I think he's still, he's a bit of a jerk, and I do believe, I am not sure about current Hurt in DC, but I know, in the George Perez version, Hercules pretty much raped and uh, pretty much beat and, I guess, put the Amazon in chains until Hippolyta beg forgiveness from the gods for being prideful. Like I said, in my version, the gods are actually the ones responsible for all the shit that happens, all the crap that happens to her. Yeah. So she kind of has this jump boot attachment on her back of her leg. So short distance jumps, leaps. I think that's what you guys are looking for. So like I said, the shield itself. Eventually, I'm gonna have to come up with. Right. So here it shouldn't be no different. It's just that the only thing I did is I kind of prolonged Hercules killing the Amazons instead of right at that time. Uh, it's kind of like a few years down the line. So I'm probably sure I'm gonna get some kind of hate messages pretty soon for. For making Herod the bad guy, because basically all the gods are dicks to people, or assholes to people. Yeah. Oh, we hit quite a few good numbers here. We did four during between 9:20 and 9:30. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. No, actually, I take that back. Between 9:10 and 9:30. Mm. So, kind of still sitting on this idea. Something in like some kind of visor, so she can see extra stuff or what have you. Doesn't have really ears. Has more like this speaker system, audio control system. So she can hear you, but it's more like she's listening in. Yeah, no, it's still great. They're like right now we still have four. We have 4 viewers. If you like what you're seeing, and you want me to keep continuing, and when I have you, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell because I'm gonna try to do this every Wednesday. I did actually start a little bit late than I was trying to, so I'm gonna try and do this somewhere between 5 and 6 and go a couple hours. I realize I've gone to uh, for almost 3 hours now, and I'll probably be stopping here in a bit, almost 3 hours. So I'll be stopping here at 10 because we kind of hidden quite in. Okay, so I probably made her neck a little too thick. So I'm actually kind of thinking now who to put in for the last three. So I want to keep the roster small for the beginning, but my thing is that like I said earlier is that the Flash may be too difficult to put into the game because I'm trying to think of how to integrate him into the world, but I don't see a good way to do it. So I guess today we're just covering uh, covering a bit of the big three for this world. So once we get started, once those initial ideas are in, well, this is the initial ideas. I guess once we get the last of the three set characters, which I'm gonna have to sit down somewhere and think about it. uh, then we're not gonna. I mean, because the biggest thing is that, as I said earlier, is that the Flash may be the hard one because uh, he's a character that just he's spontaneous. He's rocking 800-900 miles an hour, and you can it's like to him you're all just statues waiting for him to smack you around, and I have no idea how to kind of translate that idea. Because I'm assuming bullet time would be great, but we could, I mean, we could always have him be a standard fighter, so he's popping people. You can see like 2-3 punches. He's popping people with 2-3 punches. And then I don't think they're using the star on Wonder Woman anymore, right? So yeah, this is a first design. So you and like I said before, sir earlier, said usually game designs they go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 designs later. Sometimes I you know not every design they do can be approved to be shown to the public and what have you. But you know there are rough ideas and what have you. But this so this is how I'm gonna be doing all these episodes. I'm stopping for what I'm doing right now. Uh, so these are always going to be concepts. A lot, and sometimes I'll come back and revisit them. But once we get all the initial characters down, we'll probably go back and redefine those characters, make additional sheets, and maybe do more of a spread out instead of just an initial sheet that I have here, which is kind of a small sheet. Um, we'll also tangle with set designs and areas and locations, a bit more on the story. As I sat here and kind of just went down the rabbit hole with my Wonder Woman idea, going from Hippolyta all the way down to Diana, and just trying to describe how everything went down, how everything is situated in the world, and that way people have a clear idea what I have in mind for a story. So the idea, as I said before, was this imagining is the idea is to introduce you to the Justice League, to the characters that will be in the Justice will be eventually become the Justice League. So this game is not so much about the team; it's more about introducing the world. Uh, since we really can't call it DC Universe or Detective Comic because I don't think anybody's really gonna go with that, especially since there's already a DC Online. So the idea would be to go Justice League and just that Justice League, and it's an introduction to the world. So you're being introduced to Clark, you're being introduced to Bruce, you're being introduced to Diana, you're being introduced to characters like Barry or Hal Jordan and what have you. Um, Maybe you imagine that some characters want to have you. Not every character is going to be the same character, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and. Uh, the idea is to design the world, but without disrespecting the material that came before it. So there are characters that are like Jimmy Olsen will stay redhead. You know, Lon Lang will be a redhead. Yeah, I, I'm just going off the top of my head of things I've seen, and things I want to try and do is, like I said, I want to try and keep Batman more as a detective, rather than this brewing character that they have him now. Just he's just he's just kind of a downer character, and I don't know how many people like that idea, and I can't begin to imagine, and I'm not gonna bust anybody's chops about it. But I think what I want to do with the world is try to make it this more vibrant, optimistic, adventurous, you know, world that you can that I think everybody would like, you know. And so again, as I said, this is also to stretch the creative muscle in my head and kind of see where I can go with my ideas and what have you. So this may necessarily mean nothing to some other people, but hopefully people like it and enjoy it. And if people enjoy it enough, I'll try doing other things like the whatever whatever floats into the dread, or whatever people eventually, when I get to it, whatever people vote for when I have you. So um, So I'm going to go ahead and shut it down for tonight. So, and this will be every Wednesday, or maybe every Wednesday or every other Wednesday. And I hope to see you guys next time. And I will see you all later.